And it's really my fault for not bringing over all the other assets from my other computer to this one because we have no theme song.
Well, how easy is it? I guess it would just be a flash drive, but
Flash drive, hard drive, fucking Google Drive,
yeah,
1,000 different ways. I just haven't done it yet.
it's all right.
So I have like stock shit that I'm using for this
Honestly,
thing.
it's like if I was doing it, it'd be like the same way. I'd be like forgetting shit until like the last minute. So I
I,
don't even.
I like dropping my drops in. The problem is that you can't hear them when I play them, so you have to like really like listen back to hear it.
Yeah, that is the
But
problem.
I know they're there, and it makes me happy. Hey guys, this is License of You, a weekly pop culture podcast. Two best friends gonna get to pop culture news. We took a break last week. We're back again this week, and we had originally scheduled to review Godzilla 2014 last week. We're gonna, I guess, wait till next week to do that. Was that the plan, Zach?
uh, I think we were gonna do that, and we were gonna bump it with Kong, I
Right.
believed.
Or were we
Uh,
gonna do a double dose? I can't remember what
yeah,
the
that's
plan
what I
was.
thought.
Okay. But either way, we're gonna hit Kong and Godzilla. That way we can get back on track to do um, Godzilla versus Kong for the end of this month.
Hmm.
Um, is the plan. And this week we have a different topic, and we'll get there when we get there. But I wanted to address that at the beginning
Okay. Okay.
because of all the episodes that we've gone 20 to 25 minutes talking about this fucking kaiju movie, you figure this is the one topic we would be on top of
Yeah.
for all the times we talked about this particular movie, and then finally we get to see it, and we're like, we're back a week. But Zach, man, what you been doing in the last 2 weeks, man?
Uh, Honestly, it's been like, I mean, it's been super manga heavy. I finally decided to jump into my Shonen Jump Plus app or whatever it's called. So I've been
Right.
reading quite a bit. So the first thing is I changed my whole entire life, and you should too, because I finished the part one of Chainsaw Man.
Oh,
And
right.
goddamn, dude, it's so fucking good. It's such a
I
good
haven't read it
thing.
yet.
I know. I figured you probably wouldn't have read it yet. I know. I think the thing about it is that because we've talked about it a little bit before, and it's definitely like the beginning bit, especially with Denji as a character, takes a little bit to like work into. But I also
Yeah.
think there's like a good enough collection of like supporting characters around them that kind of like prop them up until you get to the fact where like he's actually like a decent character to follow. And it's like by the time I got to the end of part one, I was like, yeah, give me part two. Like I want more with
Yeah.
like him and like
How
his
long
crazy
is
devil hunter
the
shit.
mangaka taking a break of?
I'm not sure. I think I can't remember.
It's not some saga bullshit, is it?
No, like I know it's definitely like he's working on it. I think he's like, and especially with like the reading of the part one, I think he's like one of those mangaka with like he definitely wants to have like the whole entire like story already planned out, and so I think he's like trying to finalize like where he wants to take it before he like actually sits down and like starts to write it, because you can definitely tell between reading his first 97 chapters that like he definitely had like specific points, and he was like, yep, this is exactly where it's going to go. These are like the references that I want to get in early so that I can bring them in later on and like develop the characters further. And like he
Yeah.
definitely has like a strict plan for like where he was going. And so I think my guess would be I don't think I've read like a specific article on it in a while, so I might be wrong. But my guess would be that he wants to get that solid foundation down for like what he wants to do with part two and like where he wants to see that go before he actually starts inking out chapters and whatnot. Because like you know, especially with Shonen Jump, because I think he still does it through the magazine. So it's like once you start doing chapters, like you can't unless you're like Hunter x Hunter or something like that. Like you can't
Yeah.
just take a break.
Oh
So
yeah.
so I think he really wants to like plan out and like know like where he wants to take the story before he actually starts like getting into the grind of like doing the chapters week by week. So
Yay, man! I'm glad
I
you
think it's
enjoyed it, man.
supposed to start coming out this year, but I'm not 100% positive.
Okay. Yeah, I did. I like I said to you when we were talking about it, when you texted me about it, you finished it. I
Hmm.
read the first couple chapters, and the art was cool and the concept was cool, but it definitely reminded me of one of those. It gave me the impression that this was not going to get any deeper. at the
I
very
think that's a
beginning.
mistake to make that assumption because
At
I
the
think
very at
it's
the very
funny
beginning,
later on.
that's completely what it does, though. It's like,
No, in the beginning he's a very shallow character, but I think also the reasoning behind why he's such a shallow character and the journey that the mangaka like takes his path on from like being the like super shallow character to like being somebody that's like an actual person because he's really
mhm,
I mean honestly in those first few chapters he's really not a person like he's basically homeless he has no money like he barely even knows like how to be human like he's really spent his whole life like you know basically in debt, in poverty. Like he, doesn't even know like what a decent meal is, and most of the time he's like, you know, um, trying to like work day by day just to like be able to buy like bread and like a bean
mhm.
so that him and his devil puppy partner can like,
Because
have a
just
meal.
if you just read the pitch out from the first few chapters, which is like a guy
Mm,
who's in debt kills monsters for some money,
yeah.
and then you read the first couple chapters where like, and then it ends up him just following the girl, which
Hmm.
is where I stopped reading.
Yeah.
If you didn't, if I didn't know that there was more depth incoming,
Hmm.
it would definitely remind me of one of those manga anime where it's like this is like one of those like a kill type thing where it's super like
Hmm.
action packed and dramatic, and there's some themes there, but in reality, it's just a shallow, super shallow anime. But
Yeah.
like, that was my fear when I was reading. It's like, okay, this is this gonna get any deeper? And at the time, I think there's probably like 30 chapters out, whatever. I just didn't read more because I was like, okay, I got
Yeah.
other stuff I'm reading. Um, and it's shonen, so I'm not expecting it to be like fucking, Blade of the Immortal or some shit. But
Right.
but it didn't have that theme at the beginning. But if you're saying
Mhm.
that it does get there, then I'm glad to read more.
Yeah, I think
But
especially like because 30 chapters, I think is about like the first three volumes, and I think it's like it's about at that point, because the first I think it's like 20 or 30 chapters when they're still like just going on like missions against devils and whatnot is like it's still kind of like that ant type of thing, but I think really like after that point is that's when you start getting more of um like outside of like him being like a public safety hunter, you get more of like the outside world. There's a lot more of like the international world at large. Like devil hunters like aren't just into Japan. Like it's not just
right.
a Japan thing. It's much more global than that. And there's a lot of different groups and ideologies and like goals like
Mm-hmm.
mismatching against each other. So I think it gets a lot more. I think the depth is there. I just think. I mean, I definitely see where you're coming from. I think it takes a little while to get there,
Yeah.
but I also think that like the ramp up to get to that depth, I think is worth it because especially once you get into it, um, I mean, you can tell that like the ramp up has like a very specific purpose of like why these things are happening. Even like in those like first two or three chapters, like all of that stuff like makes sense and like has a point and like is brought up and is addressed. Like I really didn't
Yeah.
have like too many like unanswered questions as far as like what he was trying to do with the world or like things that like he brought up that like he didn't really address. I feel like he did a really good job of like making sure that like things that he brought up like had a specific purpose and a specific answer
Mm-hmm.
that to me at least was satisfying. Maybe there's somebody else it wasn't, but to me it was satisfying. And his art's great, especially later on. The way he's able to like, and he's not the only one that's able to do this, but I feel like with him I noticed it a lot more, which is the way he's able to make like full page spreads and like being able to convey that like force and energy in his drawing is super fantastic, and it's made me want to read his other series, which is also on Shonen Jump, which I heard a little bit about, and it's got like a similar like very dark type of theme to it, which is Fire Punch. That's his other series that was done before this. So I started reading that a little bit. I haven't got too far into it yet because I was catching up on a couple of other things, but I mean, Fire Punch is like does not take any time to set up. It's like chapter one is like out the gun, so I'm definitely excited to like get more into that as well. Because like I just finished Chainsaw Man. I was like, I want to read more from him because like I just love his writing so much after reading. Yeah, so that was the
Okay.
first big thing. I caught up on Kaiju number 8 through the latest chapter.
Right.
Um, that's a fun series. There's not like I think that's one of those ones where it's like, I don't know. At least so far, there's not like too much like compared to Chainsaw Man, there's not a whole lot of
that's cool,
depth
man.
to that. I think it's like, it is, you're getting what you're kind of getting, but like I like what I'm getting a lot, so I'm having a lot of fun with that. So Kaiju number 8. I did read the 4 chapters that are out of that baseball manga that we were talking about, I think a couple weeks ago. The name is really stupid, but I actually kind of like the concept a lot. It gives me very similar vibes to I can't name it off the top of my head.
Sure.
But the setup for it is like something that I feel like I've read or seen a million times. It's just basically like 2 guys that are like basically outcast from the star team or whatever, basically end up trying to make like their own dream team to like take on the title, which is like not anything like super spectacular or original as far as like sports manga goes, but like that's always a journey that like I'm willing to go on with characters, and especially like I like the dynamic that the 2 main guys have. So yeah, the name's bad. It's like, I mean, I like it's the second part that kills me, because the 9 Dragons stuff is fine because you end up figuring out like I think it's like in the 7th or 3rd chapter there was like a rival team that like used to go up against like the star team that they were trying to join, and the rival team was called the 9 Dragons, and I was like, okay, so it's the rival. It's whatever, it's like, the fucking, the 7 god pillars of the baseball world or whatever. Look, the thing that kills me is not the 9 Dragons. The thing that kills me is that it's also called Ball Parade, which makes no damn sense. It's like 9 Dragons Ball Parade. I was like, I don't know what like word salad
it'd be like
app
the fucking
you tried
like
to
Yokoshima
use to like make this name appeared before you, but
it would be like
I'm not feeling
Yokoshima fucking fisherman or something.
Yeah, I guess so. That was one thing I figured out because I watched Giguk's video. I don't know if you watched it, but he'd made an AI that like made light novel titles. So he was like showing them to Connor and Joey.
Well, it's typical.
It's just like even
English
just hearing them like talk about like real light novel titles, it's just like sometimes the translations are just like fucked. Like they just don't sound good.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really not a lot. There's really not much there.
Yeah,
I mean, that's why I waited till 4. I gotta at least get past like at least like the initial premise. It's like, now we're starting to like get to the point where like
manga,
okay, they're gonna start recruiting more guys. 4 chapters the first guy. I'm like, okay, so it's probably gonna be like 2 or 3 chapters before they like recruit this guy and then get on to the next guy. But yeah. Mm-hmm.
Tell you what, surprisingly a slow start to sports manga, but like Slam Dunk takes a while.
Interesting.
Like you don't start doing basketball shit really for like 5 or 6, 7, 8 chapters, and then you don't get to your first game, and I feel like till the second volume, maybe 3rd volume, 2nd volume. It's something like that where he takes his time to build up to show that the main character has to.
I mean, that's kind of what this one is. This one was definitely off the jump, where it's like,
and it takes a while. Whereas initial,
I don't know, because they're not in the baseball game, but they're like doing baseball shit.
The
whole first chapter is like them trying out for like the superstar team or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. I could name 15 fucking sports manga where it's like the first chapter is either you're a transfer student and you're looking for the club.
I mean, like, especially with that one, I feel like I don't know,
whatever the fuck.
I feel like sports manga, especially like
sports manga,
the big sports like baseball and basketball and stuff like that. I feel like those are like, I don't know if they need to be, but I feel like they're very easily segmented into like 2 or 3 different like premises that you go off of, at least for like a starting point. I feel like they can branch out from there, but I usually feel like there's like those 2 or 3 like starting points that they all use. So. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, it's like Diamond No Ace has a really great premise, which is like he is the star player on his team, but his team just sucks. his team's just trash, and his whole team knows that we're a trash team, and they know that he's a good player. So like he loses in like the big
That feels like
coaching final thing with
Tsubasa,
his team, and he
like
wants to
Captain
bring the team to
Tsubasa.
win.
At
And
least
they're
from
like,
what I
we
saw the
can't get
story in
that.
like the video
And he's
game,
recruited.
it feels like that's like the similar thing where it's like Tsubasa's like the star
Maybe.
team, and it's like I think at the point it's like everybody else gets like raised to where they can like kind of support him, but they're all kind of trash.
Oh no! The first chapter of Diamond Ace is like he's from a small town and his team's trash, and he gets recruited by a school in Tokyo, and he's like, I can't do it.
Yeah.
And they're like, you have to go. Like we're garbage. Like we've been garbage forever. And if you're gonna win, you have to go. And he has to go to the school. He's the fish out of water where he thinks he's great and no, he's a good player, and he has to like, oh, there's people who are fucking way better than me, and I have to like, and he's like the Rock Lee surrounded by Naruto's. You know what I mean? Like he's the character where he's not naturally.
Oh, he's
amazing.
just a
he
super
has to
hard
work
worker.
at it.
Yeah. Well, that reminds me of. Well, that's
Yeah,
basically
he's like the fucking guy.
That's that basketball anime that I was telling you about. I can't remember what it was called. It was like Akira no Sora or something like that. But that's basically the same thing where it was like, it was a short, stocky kid, and he's like, you first time you see him, you're like, oh, he's so talented, and you're just like, no, he like fucking like drills himself, like he shoots like 1,000 free throws. Like,
look, I love basketball.
Yeah.
And I love basketball manga. Slam Dunk's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I love Kuroko for how Dragon Ball Z it is.
Yeah.
But the moment when you give me a basketball manga and the Sora thing you're talking about, the manga art is fucking atrocious, so I can't read it, and I prefer manga, so I couldn't read it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when the premise is you're a naturally small person but you're great at basketball, automatically it's hard for me to believe it because it's basketball. Like you don't do well in basketball if there's so few and far and in between people who are below.
Wasn't that the
6
point guard
foot.
thing, right? The point guards can be smaller.
Point guards, a small point guard is 5'11", 6 foot tall. That's a small point guard. 6'3" is like the average point guard height. You know what I mean? Their Muggsy Bogues was like 5'9", you know, and played for a long time. You have Nate Robinson was like 5'10", 5'11". These guys in real life who are pros. But like Kuroko's character being like, I'm like 5'8" and I'm the shadow. You don't see me on the court. So I can, dude, no. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. Because there's only 5 of us.
Yeah.
So I know where everybody's at on the court because there's an opposing point guard whose job it is to watch everybody.
Yeah.
And there's also the one, the manga I was telling you about called Switch, which is like the twin brothers who are like trying to play basketball, whatever, and they're kind of short too. And like the height thing matters zero in any other sport, right? Like boxing, you have weight classes. Baseball, you can be any height. You know, golf don't fucking matter.
So
football, football. There's only one football fucking manga, so whatever. And then football, then there's usually you can be tall, but there's whatever average height, whatever.
There's small guys and big guys, and but different spots for different players. So,
even in general in soccer, you want to be a decent height because you have to run. But you have guys who are also super fucking short who are great at soccer, so it's forgiving. But the one sport that's not forgiving about height is fucking basketball. Could you imagine fucking 5'5" Japanese dude trying to fucking shoot on Shaquille O'Neal? Yao Ming. Get the shit out of here, dude. What are you talking about? You're gonna try to fucking lay up on me? You know what I mean? So, what else have you been checking out, man?
So that was the manga, and then the last thing that I checked out was I started replaying it because I played it a little bit. I feel like a year or two after it came out, and then I dropped it because I don't know why. Like the gameplay just wasn't meshing with me, but I decided to pick it back up. And I'm feeling better with the gameplay now, which is Nier Automata.
Yeah.
Which is like, I don't know why, but like for some reason, like the first time I ever played it, it just like wasn't meshing with me. But it's like recently I started replaying again. I was like, I don't know why I had problems with this because like now I'm feeling more comfortable with it. Like I don't know. I feel like I have that with a lot of games where it's like the first time I pick them up, it's just like I play them for a while, and then I'm just like,
Mm-hmm.
it's not really grabbing me, and then I like not play them for like a year or two, and then I pick it back up, and I'm like, I don't
Yeah.
know why I had a problem with this. Like I feel like I'm perfectly fine now. I don't know, but
I have that same problem with Persona,
mm,
where everyone tells me in the fucking world that these games are, 10 out of 10 games that
they're good
I'm
games.
gonna love playing these games and they're
I would never tell you that
amazing
you would love playing a Persona.
and they're story rich and they're amazing and the characters are so interesting and there's man, I buy Persona 5, I pop it in, I play it for like 5 hours, which I understand
That's like
that
still tutorial
that's
shit.
nothing for that.
Yeah,
I understand that. But guess what? I don't give a fuck.
yeah.
That's 5 hours of my life that I could be playing fucking
Well, that's
Call
the
of
problem
Duty.
with Persona games, especially, is that they're so long that they're
Yeah.
just such a time investment. And I
Yes.
think that's the real problem that Persona games have. Because I think really once you get into like out of the tutorial stage of Persona, you start like getting through the actual gameplay and like getting into like the routine of it and like
Yeah.
getting into the confidence system and all that stuff. Like I think it is really a lot of fun, and I really do enjoy Persona 5 a lot. I haven't tried Persona 5 Royal yet, although I've had it for oh my god, I feel like that came out a year ago, so I probably had it for like a year, and I
Well,
still
so
have
I
yet.
I, I
But
bought Gold 4 Golden on Steam like a week and a half ago, and I bought it. And the moment I bought it, or last weekend, or whatever, the moment
yeah,
I
last week.
bought it was the same day I put in like 5 hours at the same time. I bought it, played 5 hours straight. I look, the art's awesome.
You
The
got
art
to
is
the murder
awesome.
mystery bit.
Yeah, the art is awesome. The concept of the story is cool. The concept of the art design is cool. Music's great. The characters that I've met so far are cool, which is I've only met a couple people,
Yeah,
but it's the I don't want to play Pokemon.
yeah, that
And
is
I
a
did. No
problem.
one told me that it was Pokemon.
Yeah, it's basic, and I think that's I don't know about the actual Shin Megami Tensei, but I think
I
it's
think it is
also
too.
Pokemon.
I think it
Yeah,
is too.
it's Pokemon with demons, basically. Yeah. Well, I mean, it is and it isn't. Um,
It's Monster
I mean, it's still
Rancher.
got like the same basic structure. You've got like the fusing
Look,
aspect of like the different personas.
it's Monster Rancher. It's Collectible City, and I
Yeah.
didn't know. I thought it was I'm gonna have my character, and then they're gonna have a persona, and then I'm gonna buff that persona, which is obviously part of the case. But also I'm
I
having
mean, it's basically all your party members, but you
right.
get to like basically play
But
Pokemon
I'm
Master.
fusing stuff, and I never knew that the character never has a fucking personality. I didn't know that. I
Yeah.
thought the main character was also like a in depth character, not for you, not a, what's it called for you.
Well, the problem with Persona in Persona 4, specifically Persona 4 has so many spin-off games that in those spin-off games that character ends up having more of a personality.
Yeah.
But in the actual like base game and of itself, yeah, I mean they're basically like silent protagonists.
And I didn't necessarily have too much of a problem with that, but it was definitely something I was disappointed by. Um,
Mm.
and then the combat is fine. Um,
Yeah.
I'm playing it. I can play it on a keyboard with two fingers.
Yeah.
Dungeons are terrible. Fuck those dungeons. That's so boring.
Oh, the dungeons in 4 are
So
like
boring.
super repetitive and bad.
Like
Um,
I don't want that. Just
Fives are a little bit better because you've got like the difference between like the palace dungeons, which are a little bit more interesting, just in the layout of like heist mansions and stuff like that. And then you've also got the fuck, what's it called? The subway system or whatever in Persona 5, which I think is a problem that Persona 4 has, which is that it doesn't have that mix them up. And Persona 3 didn't have it either. And Persona 3 has the same problem, which is like the dungeons are just like super boring and repetitive, and the
yeah,
layout is like they're all very similar.
yeah.
And so yeah, especially with, yeah, like those two games, like 3 and 4, it gets to the point where it's like going through dungeons, which you have to do the advance the story. It gets like very like monotonous.
And I just realized that I bought two games now, and I'm not buying any more. It's just not. It's not for me. I'm not gonna say they're bad because they're. It wasn't like the game had flaws in it. It just didn't fit my.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think it's one of those games that like it's really not for everybody.
It's not for me. I'm very much so not interested in talking
Hmm.
to these girls and building some. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Like, oh, your family owns a hot spring and you have to take it over. Boo hoo! I don't fucking give a shit. Boo hoo! Fuck off. Oh no, you wear a green track jacket. I don't give a fuck. You're cheap as fuck in the fighting game. Fuck you. I don't give a shit. It's a
God, she was so cheap in that
that
game.
that's I mean, and I will say this though. I really enjoy the. I don't know. I've never played the PS2 version, so I don't know. But like,
Hmm.
it looks like it was made for Game Boy. Like
Mm.
it's chibi-ish characters, and I
Hmm.
think that stuff's all really great. I like the fact that it looks like it's made for a handheld. Like, obviously, Golden was made for Vita. I understand that, but like,
Yeah.
this is the kind of game that I would maybe if I was playing it on a Switch, I'd be all about it because it's so
Yeah.
much made. It's so clearly perfect on a portable.
Hmm.
Um, like to me, like most JRPGs to me that are like the old style, so FF7, I think it's perfect for a handheld. You
Yeah. I
know,
think a lot of those old ones for sure. Yeah.
but then
Really
when you
perfect.
start going into more of the 3D stuff, like FF10 onward, maybe you want to play on controller, but like this game, Persona 4, I was like, this is perfect for a fucking portable. Obviously, the Vita was the portable, but
Hmm.
maybe if I was playing on Switch, I'd be digging it more. But it's the core concept of like having to fuse personas. I just don't care enough about because to me they don't look the disparity between how they look is so big. Like in terms of coolness
Yeah.
factor, like the main ones clearly put all the work into those. Those look rad, right?
Yeah.
But then
Yeah. All the side character ones. Yeah.
the other ones that you get, like the little fucking shit ones, who the fuck cares? I don't fucking care. Also, I swear, I've learned now that it's the third game that does it. I thought this
Hmm.
game had the gun to your head thing, but I guess it's number three.
Yeah. No, that's the third game. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. That shit was dope.
That's
Well, they
cool.
all have the different things because yeah, the third one is like the gun to your head. I think the fourth one is the
The
glasses,
glasses, yeah.
and then the fifth one is you've got
The
the phantom,
masks, yeah.
which I think the phantom mask is like up there with the gun for me. Like that the mask, the like mask rip off is like so dope.
I think the girls in five look the best.
Oh, I mean my favorite girl from the whole series is in three, so
Which one is that one?
uh,
Describe. I don't know
it's
names, so just
the redhead.
I don't know. I don't remember.
Hold on, I'll find her. Give me a sec.
I
Give me a
just
quick.
Google it real quick. Hold on.
It's
Persona 3 redhead. I found literally the first search redhead girl. Okay,
Yeah,
I gotcha. I know
yeah.
who this is. Yeah.
She's in the fight.
She is. Yeah, I remember playing her.
Yeah, she's super fun. She's like my favorite character in that whole series. So.
She's cool looking. Um, my favorite Persona character is Catherine. Yeah. So that's Persona. What else? What else?
Okay.
What else you been up to?
No, that was it for me.
Okay.
Nothing else really too big.
I got a couple things on my list since the last two
All right.
weeks. I started watching this Apple TV show called
Mm-hmm.
For All Mankind, which
Hmm.
stars Joel Kinnaman,
Okay.
and it's an alt history series where the Russians got to the moon first.
Huh.
It's about NASA trying to catch up, and I'm only at episode 4, 5. I stopped watching it because I was watching something else, but I liked what I saw. The production value is really good. Joel Kinnaman's really great.
Mm-hmm.
The idea is good. I like alt history stuff a lot. A lot of hairy turtle dove style storytellings. It's season 2 is out now. It just came out a couple weeks ago, so
Wow. Okay.
maybe I'll watch more. A lot of Overwatch because I got my new computer.
Oh
So a
yeah.
lot of Overwatch, a lot of problems I've been having with Overwatch.
There's like how many characters in Overwatch now? Last
I
time I
don't know.
remember seeing one was the hamster. So.
There's the hamster was one. Then there's Ash, which is the cowboy girl.
Oh yeah, her.
Then there's some gravity guy that I play a lot. My biggest
Hmm.
problem with Overwatch, cause I haven't played Overwatch probably in 2 years,
I think that was the last time I
Um,
played.
my biggest problem is that they changed quick play.
Did they?
Yeah, so they changed quick play to where now before you even queue, you have to select your class that you're gonna play. So
Huh.
you can you pick DPS, you pick tank, you pick whatever support, or you do flex, and you queue up. But then when you get locked into the game, you can only pick from that class.
Okay.
So you can't like if I'm playing a game which I have 1,000 times, I'll go because I just naturally play. I'll play flex, and I'll naturally play support or heal or whatever
Hmm.
whatever the classes are now. I'll play tank or I'll play heal. I don't give a shit.
Right.
I'm just the way that I play that game. I'm naturally better at playing tank, or I'm naturally fine with playing like Anna or somebody. Um,
Okay.
and I'm not necessarily the greatest at healing, but I'm a tank natural. AKA run in there. I have a lot of health. I swing on
Yeah.
people. I get out. That's the way I play.
Run in there, get everybody to fire at you, and then quickly run away.
Yeah, and I'll shield up or something and then beat people up.
Yeah.
But what I've noticed with this new quick play, and it's not new to anyone who plays Overwatch because they've been doing this for the last year or 2 years
Hmm.
or whatever, is that I'll get into a game and I'm locked in now to play tank, but my DPS is garbage. So in old quick play, if my DPS was garbage, I would just switch over to DPS and
Right.
just play wherever void was there and just fill it. And
So now
make
you can't switch
now you
anymore?
can't do that.
That's so
So you
stupid. Why
have
not?
so if I get locked
I thought
into
the whole point was being able to switch on the fly.
so I can no I can switch, but I can only switch within the class that I'm picked in.
That still seems like really
So
stupid.
if I pick tank, I queue up to a tank game, right? Now
So you have to be in one of the
can only
four
be within a
in one of the
tanks.
four options.
Yeah. Well, now it's
So
only
you're either
three.
like healer, tank.
It's
What
only
is
they
it?
took away defense. Now it's just like
Now it's just tank.
support, tank, DPS.
So it's just those three.
Just those three now.
Wow. There's not even okay.
And you
Wow.
can pick a flex where you can fill in just whatever. But the problem is if you pick flex, you're always going to get support or tank because no one wants to. Everybody wants to play damage
Everybody wants
characters.
to be DPS.
And
Yeah.
they give you priority passes, right? You have to like play matches to get priority passes
Hmm.
because everyone wants to play fucking DPS. So it took me like 6 minutes to find a game to play fucking DPS.
Right.
Or if I play tank, dude, I have a game in 30 seconds.
Yeah.
You know what I
That's
mean?
true.
But the problem is that like I'm fucking playing, and before if my team is doing trash on damage and they're not killing the guys, then I can
Hmm.
hop over and just fucking take care of it.
Right.
Um, and maybe that makes the team unbalanced or not, but it makes the game more fun, more free. I guess people were complaining about balance issues when you go into a game and everyone's playing fucking snipers or something, which
Okay, but then it's also just like I don't know. You can
it's
compensate for
quick
that.
play.
Yeah.
It's not supposed to be
I could see that in like
competitive.
ranked, but yeah, like quick play. I mean, the whole point is just to have fun.
Yeah, and I think there's a quick play arcade which is still open queue. I haven't played it yet. I'll probably play it tonight or tomorrow. But it's just like it's rate base quick play should just be open.
Yeah,
Who
that
cares?
doesn't make. Yeah, it does. I don't know. That doesn't make any sense.
It's annoying
It
as
feels like a
shit.
dumb decision.
It's really annoying. It makes me feel like when they do Overwatch 2, it's gonna have that, and like
Oh
I'm
yeah, it's
very
definitely gonna have like same type of shit.
I'm just not gonna be able to test new characters out without having to wait 7 to 10 minutes between games. Um, so
Ugh,
there's that.
that sounds annoying.
Then I mentioned Persona. I finally watched Creed 2.
Okay.
Um, it's a Creed movie.
Yeah, I remember like not. I don't love it as much as the first one, but I don't hate it. Like it's not a
Yeah,
bad movie, but it's not the first movie.
I really enjoyed. I mean, it's well shot, well edited, everything. It's a Rocky movie, so it's well everything. It's a typical Rocky movie. But I
Hmm.
really liked. I didn't give a shit about the progression for Adonis. I don't give a fuck about the progression for him. I don't really care. The
Yeah.
progression for fucking Drago is the progression that I cared about.
Hmm.
Like at the end of the movie, he's a different person.
Yeah, he
Than the
is.
beginning of the movie. Then from Rocky Four, he's a completely different man, and
Hmm.
you see him change, and his son is like clearly on the side of Like there's a part of the movie where when the fight's booked and they're at his ex-wife's family's house and they're there and they're all ritzy and whatever, and
Mm-hmm.
his son walks out and he's like, "No, these people treated you like trash, Dad." And Drago's like, "We have to go. They're everything, right?" And at the end of
Yeah.
the fight, when he's clearly losing, the wife leaves, ex-wife leaves, and Drago's like, "Oh, fucking, this is what he meant. You know, this is everything. It's my son." And
Mm-hmm.
that's the progression that matters. But Adonis fighting him doesn't really serve any purpose because it's not like just because his dad killed your dad doesn't mean anything. You weren't
Yeah.
alive and you also weren't there, and it mattered more to Rocky to beat him than it did for you. So
Yeah.
that's what I think at least.
Yeah, that was the weirdest part, I think. Well, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I get where you're coming from with that. I mean, but I mean, it's weird because he's got that emotional thing of like, this is the guy that killed my dad, but it's also like, I mean, his son didn't kill your dad, like he
Yeah,
killed your. So it'd be like more emotional if like, I don't know if it was somehow like Rocky versus Drago, but yeah, it's like
right.
the two sons. I don't know,
There's no
like
context there.
Drago's son like didn't really have anything to do with like your dad dying. So like I don't
Yeah,
know, like taking out the like revenge angle that they're like they tried to take it out on him. I don't know.
yeah.
It doesn't hold the weight
Well, even the
really.
idea of like Drago being like, Rocky, you took everything away from me, so I want to take it away from the guy you trained.
Mm.
Okay, but your son could have been fighting it whenever he fucking wanted to. He's good. He could have been a pro
Yeah.
already. You just
Yeah, I mean he's not a bad
like you
boxer, so
you could have been. He beat him already. He beat him one time, so you could have been a pro already. So
yeah.
that to me doesn't really hold much. Um, it was very much a cash in, which I understand, but also I
Mm.
didn't know the storyline in the first movie was that Tessa Thompson's character had a hearing problem. I didn't even remember that, and they made that a big deal in the second movie.
I remember I think they brought it up at one point, but yeah, they definitely but I also I mean it goes back to like I don't really care about like him and her.
Yeah,
Like I don't give a fuck like about their relationship at all. Like I don't think that they have good chemistry and the writing behind their relationship is just bad.
yeah,
So like I don't really give a fuck. And so yeah, they were like pushing that extra hard. I remember there was something about it because I think the first movie is like when he like goes to her show or whatever,
yeah.
and then he like gets in the fight, right? And I'm just like I remember that vaguely, but yeah, I can't even
Yeah.
remember like their whole storyline in Creed 2, but I remember like not giving a crap about it.
Well, yeah, they get engaged. They have a baby. Baby has hearing problems like your mom,
Hmm.
which I don't care about
Yeah,
because who gives a shit? You're fine. You're rich.
they're like, well, they're also making it sound like, oh, he has hearing problems. He's not gonna be a DJ. Like, is like who cares?
The
First of all, get a hearing aid.
literally the movie to me, for all how well shot it is and how great Michael B. Jordan is in it and how yoked he is and how great everything looks, the
Hmm.
movie is really the two things I give a shit about. It it pulls Drago 360 or
Hmm.
whatever 180, however whatever the fucking degrees are. It gives him humanity, which is great,
Yeah.
and then also it ends Rocky's story by letting him go talk to his son and his grandson. That's the only thing that matters.
This was also was this the first? Was it this one or the first one where he also has cancer?
The first
Was
one,
that this one?
the first
Okay, that
one,
was the first one. Okay, I got them mixed up.
yeah.
I thought they had something more significant in the story, but I guess it was just him talking to his son again.
Yeah,
But
at the end of this movie, he goes to Milo, whatever the fuck his name is, his
yeah,
house, and then
it's the
his
same guy from the
yeah
fifth movie,
from
right?
Balboa, yeah, same guy from Heroes and Gilmore Girls.
Mm-hmm.
So that was cool, but I don't need. And I know that they just announced recently, like a day or
Yeah,
two
that he's
ago.
directing the third
I
one, but it's
don't
also like
fucking
I don't
care.
know. I don't know what they're gonna do with it, and I also, I mean, Michael B. Jordan hasn't directed anything, so like,
Yeah,
they're like his debut, and I'm like, I'd be more excited if like I knew what he was like as a director,
yeah,
because like, I mean, just like his debut direct, I'm like, I don't know. Some actors are not good when they get behind the
yeah.
camera,
Oh
so
yeah,
like,
and also
just the fact that like he's directing it was like not gonna be something that like gets me excited for it. I
I
also
just
don't know what else they could do like with that story.
yeah. I mean
Because there's not anything else they can do with Rocky. Like Rocky's done now. So
yeah,
if Sylvester even shows up, he's not gonna be doing anything.
yeah.
So that already makes it like kind of pointless for me because the whole reason I like the first one, and the only reason I like was even paying attention to the second one, besides the Drago stuff, is the relationship that like Sylvester or Rocky and Creed have
Yeah.
as like the trainer boxer type of thing. So it's like, but there's really not, and even in the second one, there was like really not much else they can do with that. Like their whole relationship's like already resolved at that point. Besides Rocky saying that like he shouldn't die trying to like,
But even at the end of the movie, that's all resolved.
yeah,
That's all resolved at the end of the movie when he wins the fight and he's telling him to get into the ring and Rocky's like, no, it's your time. Okay, so third movie he fights someone else. I don't give a shit.
I don't care.
Unless you start going off the wall like what Rocky 3 did, where we start bringing in the fucking robot
Yeah.
and all that shit. You know what I mean? Because like Rocky had Adrian.
Who's the Mr. T for Creed
Right.
3?
Rocky had Adrian. Rocky had
Right.
Apollo. Rocky had his trainer.
He doesn't. And that's the other problem is Creed. Yeah, Creed doesn't even have like an Apollo.
He doesn't have Apollo. He doesn't have a trainer. He has a girlfriend or a wife, but he doesn't have anyone that like really like for it to die to make Rocky mad. Like Rocky had all those things, and Creed doesn't have anything. And it's kind of late in the game to try to do that. It's just a boxing movie now.
Yeah.
You know.
And that's kind of like, eh. I'd rather watch Southpaw. So.
Yeah. So watch that. Then, last two things. I've been watching this Korean reality game show on Netflix.
Okay.
Called Men on a Mission. Okay. And it's like a Korean variety show. There's like 1,000 episodes out or whatever. It's insane. It's like an hour, 15 minutes each episode. But the premise is it's like a gaggle of these Korean dudes, obviously. And like a couple of them are comedians. Some of them are former singers or songwriters. Like they're all famous presenters now. And they're in this fake school where they have like guest students come in and who are other famous people, and they just like do like improv for like however long, and they just like kind of hang out and do like fake quizzes and all this kind of bullshit, and like it's just like brainless thinking that I've been watching like all week. Okay. And it's fun. It's really fun. I have no context for half of the jokes because I don't care about K-pop. And it's not K-pop centric at all. But like, they bring in K-pop stars, so I'm like, I don't know who that is. You know what I mean?
Okay.
But the people, if they're funny, they're funny.
Right.
And it reminds me of the same enjoyment that I have with watching the Japanese show I mentioned a couple months ago on Amazon. It's called Documental, and it's even funnier than this show. This show's funny, but Documental is insanely funny if you like Japanese humor. Okay. Which is about a reality game show where a bunch of comedians get into one room and you have to not laugh. The last person to not laugh wins a bunch of money. And just a bunch of like 15 or I don't know, 12 or however many Japanese comedians get into a room and just start pulling out bits out the ass for like 4 episodes. And it's like just like 4 hours, 5 hours of fucking them just like trying to make each other laugh. And it's really, really funny. And Amazon has the first 3 seasons. There's like 8 seasons out, but they haven't subbed the new ones yet. But on Reddit, you can find people who wink, wink, wink do translations. So I'm on season 4 of that. Okay. After waiting like a month for Amazon to do it. But Men on a Mission's pretty funny. They talk really fast because it's in Korean. Okay. So you have to like read the subs really quickly. But I've laughed a lot. I've laughed a couple good times from that show. Okay. I'm enjoying it. Again, it's mindless entertainment, so there's that. Lastly, Netflix docuseries, 4 episodes, called Murder Among the Mormons.
I didn't know if I wanted to start watching that or not. Like, I saw it pop up, but I didn't know if I really wanted to watch it.
It peters out at the end, but at the first 2 episodes, you're like, can I just tell you what happens, or are you going to watch? Do you care?
Hey, I think you can just tell me what happens.
I really enjoyed it because I like religious stuff, especially when it's about murder, right? So the
Okay.
first episode, there's this art dealer, like rare paperwork book dealer who lives in Salt Lake City, which is obviously Mormon Central, and he sells stuff to the Mormon Church, right? And
Okay.
all of a sudden, one day, randomly, people who are connected to him and connected to the church in terms of a big sale, like two bombs go off randomly and kill this finance guy who was going to sell stuff and kill some lady who was targeting someone else to her husband. And then
Okay.
the one guy who's actually the dealer, he's in his car and the car just explodes and he like loses a bunch of fingers and shit, right? And
Okay.
people are like, dude, the fucking Mormon church is out there fucking putting bombs in fucking people's cars to fucking kill these motherfuckers, right? Like, and I was like, oh my god, that's insane! I can't believe we have documentation of the fucking church. Dude, I'm fucking. This is insane. Episode 2, the guy who's the dealer is a notorious forger. Okay, all right, I'm in.
Okay.
All right, so it's
Okay.
about him like becoming a forger and all this stuff, and it's super interesting. Um, but it's not religious crime, which is what
Okay.
I thought it was gonna be. They kind of like everybody in the show is Mormon because it's based in Salt Lake City or a former Mormon,
Okay.
but it's not like holy crimes like I thought it was gonna be. It's
Yeah.
interesting though. It's good,
Okay.
but it wraps up at the end. There's no questions about what happened. They wrap it all up within 4 episodes, so
Mm-hmm.
it won't get last podcast on the left, treatment, but
Yeah.
it's good. I enjoyed it. So that's all I've done really.
Okay.
So
Nice.
Zach, with that being said, man, what is our topic for this week since we postponed Godzilla?
We postponed Godzilla, and so we're gonna do a topic that we talked about. I feel like it was like a month or so, maybe even longer now, of doing our anime 3x3s. Um, Now, I don't know if you were able to. I tried to physically make one, and I couldn't do it before the show. I might try to try again after we record and send it to you so that we can kind of maybe edit into the episode or something like that.
Okay.
But mine was pretty hard to nail down specifically what I wanted to see as far as what specifically with the definition I kind of gave you to steer you forward is what kind of encapsulates me as an anime watcher, shows that I think really I would want to watch again, really speak to me on a personal level, those type of things.
Right.
I don't know how we want to do this. We want to do it one by one, or do we want to just list them all out? And,
I say
explain
you go.
everything, or...
I say we can just list them one by one.
Okay.
Okay. I did draw one
Okay.
on paper. You can't really see it because of my phone, but I drew
Yeah.
I drew it and I took a picture of it, but it looks like shit, so it doesn't really matter. Since there's no correlation, there's no importance between each square.
No, not really. Yeah, there's not really a set importance or anything like that.
Okay, well, hey, just fucking rip it, dude. What's your
All
first
right.
one?
First one that I have pop up on my list is probably one of the first big anime that I ever watched is recognized as anime, and so for that point, I kind of have to put it on there, which is Naruto. Naruto. I kind of encapsulate Shippuden and the originals this thing.
I would.
But yeah, I mean it's just I think it's probably one of the I think looking back on it, there's probably other anime that I'd probably watched before Naruto, but Naruto was the first one where it was you turned it on, I was like, hell yeah, this is anime.
Right.
Hell yeah. Sakura's a dumbass bitch. Hell yeah.
Right. See, I will say this: Naruto's not on my grid because
Okay.
I had to draw the line in my mind's eye
Okay.
because the question was, what's the 3x3 of anime that encapsulates you? I never watched the Naruto anime.
Right. Okay.
I've only read it.
Okay.
So Naruto the anime meant zero to me. So
Gotcha.
in middle school, when people were like, "There's this anime on Toonami called Naruto," I was like, "Bitch, I've been reading that shit for fucking 4 years." Fucking talking about fucking new
I've been reading
anime.
that for 4 years. It's only halfway
I've
through.
been reading this shit for years, bro. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
The only time I ever would watch the anime of Naruto was when the English translation mangas were too far behind. So I would watch on YouTube in like '06, '07,
Yeah.
like the
Back when it was split into 3 parts on
yeah,
YouTube.
like part one of
Yeah.
part 1/3, part 2/3.
hmm
Three.
I
Here,
remember that shit.
here's
100%, dude.
Naruto versus Sasuke fight.
Used to watch the old Yu-Gi-Oh episodes doing that shit.
Yeah,
Hmm.
and even then, that was really it. Was like to watch the big things, like the Naruto Sasuke fight
Right.
was one.
Yeah.
All those AMVs that had trapped Headstrong.
That was I don't know if I ever told you about this. I made an AMV
Okay.
for Naruto. I think it was based around the because I did one for DBZ. That was like the first one I ever did.
Yeah.
Which was all based around Randy Orton's theme song "Burn
You
My
told
Life"
me
with
that.
the
Yeah.
Super Saiyan.
You told me.
And I was like, hell yeah, I'm super happy with
Whatever,
this.
dude. Why did that go away?
AMVs?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I know Giga did like a video about it. I can't remember what his reasoning was, but I feel like AMVs is like a concept. Like they didn't like go away. Like you can still like go to anime conventions and see them, but they're
Yeah.
definitely like not as big. And I think like the reason that like they're not as big anymore is like I think for a lot of people it was a way to like introduce people to like certain shows that they liked without like having to like explain the concept to them or anything like that. Like you could put like a sick ass beat
Yeah.
behind like some cool ass visuals and be like, wouldn't you want to watch this shit?
Yeah.
Or you could
I
just like go into like your super emo side and like play like a super sad song and like be a sad boy. So
I spent. There's so many instances for me when we would go to an anime convention when we were like 14 or 15, and we'd go watch the AMV like on
Mhm.
Sundays. Just go
Yeah,
watch the big ass.
the AMV
Just play
contest.
all
Yeah,
the AMVs, and we would see so many like. I remember I would see so many cool looking shit, like so many cool like
there are
mecha.
some people that are really good at
Oh yeah,
editing.
yeah. There was an art to it for sure, but I
Yeah.
would see so many really sweet anime inside the AMVs, but then
hmm
I quickly realized that um, these are vertical slices of anime. Like
Yeah.
people are picking the best parts of Macross to make it look cool. If you go actually watch Macross, it's not that good.
Yeah.
Like I remember someone did an AMV with the very first episode of Soul Eater, where did you ever watch Soul Eater, Zach?
I watched like the first 5 episodes. I need to pick it back up.
You should
Uh,
buy it because they're doing the perfect editions.
are they?
Yeah, and
Okay.
they're like $20 cheap, or $20 or less than $20, and then like
Interesting.
they're awesome. That's I'll get into this in a second.
Okay.
It's not on my list, but just I want to add this to it. But so in the first episode of Soul Eater, there's like it's the highest quality. They used all their money to animate this one episode because the
hmm
Maka is spinning her scythe around and like it looks fucking rad, right?
Oh yeah.
Never again did we ever get the quality of that. So I remember seeing AMVs before I even really gave the show a chance. I remember being like, this show looks stupid. I was like bagging on this show. I was like, this show looks fucking childish. It looks fucking goofy as shit. The art style is lame.
hmm
That animation looks sick because Keenan was our friend Keenan was the first one who was into the show.
Okay.
And I remember being like, this show looks fucking lameo. And I remember seeing that animation on AMV. I was like, that animation looks pretty sweet. So I watched the show, and this show the show is good, right? But
hmm
then they pick the best looking animation for that. Like I've seen so many AMVs with like the fucking the Spike fight in the movie where he has the headphones and
Oh yeah. Well, that's a popular one too.
yeah,
Yeah.
that fight. A lot of Samurai Champloo.
Yeah, that one. I'm pretty sure that's probably like the tavern scene where I think his name's Mugen.
Mugen, yeah.
He's fighting the guys with his shoes and all that shit, and he's like doesn't have a sword and all that stuff.
So there's a lot of those clearly animations are all vertical sliced.
Yeah.
But you said Naruto. I get that, man. That's a
Yeah.
massive, that's life changing anime.
Yeah. I think it's, and especially with like that one in particular, it's like my first like realization of like the gateway into like watching anime.
Yeah,
So that
yeah.
holds a special place.
Oh,
Even though I
absolutely.
don't like the ending of it,
Yeah,
it still is a very important anime for
yeah.
me.
I would say if it was like top it was like 3x3 manga, it would be
Hmm.
not no doubt.
Oh yeah,
If
for sure.
or even if it was like 3x3 stories,
Yeah,
that's on my list for sure. The
for
amount of
sure.
times that Kishimoto has made me cry,
Oh my god, dude. Yeah,
it
he's got.
powerful.
He sometimes he writes some dumbass shit, but he's got the way to like when he's got those moments to like have that really good character development and like really like get at the emotions and like the core of the
Yeah.
characters. He's able to really pull that shit out. So
Yeah, sure. You really ruin your own character by making him obviously going to be successful, but other than that, that's fine.
yeah. Well, I mean, I think we talked about this before. It was like you completely defeat the whole point of like you starting the manga, where it's like, oh yeah, but he was like the born again godchild, so it's
Yeah, but
fine.
he needs to,
Hard work doesn't matter. Fuck hard work.
he needs to do a sequel spin-off series where he at the beginning of Naruto, it's like the
Mhm.
first page of the anime or the first scene of the anime is like Naruto on the swing, like all sad, and then
Yeah.
the narrator goes, "You already heard that story of that guaranteed to be successful character. Let's see another
Yeah.
character story." And it pans over to Rock Lee punching a tree,
Yeah,
and
that's
we
what we need, dude. We need
yeah,
the Rock Lee anime,
and we need
dude.
that anime because
Yeah.
that's hard work.
Yeah.
Well, the first grid on Square of mine,
Hmm.
um, it's exactly like Naruto. It is Dragon Ball Z.
Okay.
For if I say my style, I've said before that
Hmm.
my viewership in anime is very much like my particular style of favorite of film. And that sentence rolled out so clunky. My genre. Oh my god. My taste in anime is my taste in movies, which is Coors Light. It is action
Yeah.
packed. Dragon Ball Z is literally that's all it is. It's not
It's
Dragon
an
Ball.
action-packed
You know,
anime.
Dragon Ball is adventure, it's comedy, it's Doctor
Mhm.
Slump still, it's goofiness. Dragon Ball Z is like, no, fuck all that. We're doing muscles, explosions, beams, power
Yeah.
ups. That's it, right? So I would
Hmm.
spend the amount of money that my dad would spend on me for Dragon Ball Z VHS tapes was insane. For years, it'd be like, okay, we're gonna go to the video store. And you're gonna go rent fucking JCVD movie,
Hmm.
and then we're gonna go. We'll go to the BX, which is a base store on base,
Hmm.
and maybe I'll buy you a Dragon Ball Z VHS tape.
Okay.
And I remember first one I got in my head, first segment of the kids tournament with Goten and Trunks,
Oh
and,
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
that's when I realized that everything that I was watching is over. And I was a child. I'm like, this is. I've never even seen these characters before because my friends' brothers have had all the Sand Saga VHS box sets, all like this case, all this stuff. And I'm like, who are these characters that I've never seen before? I'm like, oh my god, like this is like way over. Like
Yeah.
this shit's old. I thought it was new. You
Hmm.
know, like we thought it was new when it was coming out Toonami. That shit's been over for fucking 5 years, 6, 7 years, baby.
Yeah.
I'm talking about. So Dragon Ball Z was definitely I spent so much time tracing fucking pictures of fucking Trunks on paper. I spent so much time in my mind correlating power levels, which is probably why now I care so much about power levels. Where I'm
Hmm.
like, no, clearly Trunks could not have beat Cell at Super Saiyan 2.5. Goku says it in the Hyperbolic Time Chamber. He's strong, but he's too slow. We saw that in action when he fought him on the island. We saw that.
It's true. We
He
did.
was
We
too
saw it in
strong.
action.
His eyes went back in his head. He was super bulky, and we knew he couldn't
You
happen.
know, when he'd get a punch on Cell, Cell would be hurt. But as soon as Cell figured out that he just didn't have to get punched,
It
it was
was
over.
over. And that's when we learned that Goku says, "Nope, Gohan's gonna be stronger than me." And I'm like, "What? Excuse me?
Excuse me?
Excuse me? What's going on with that shit?"
You
That's
say Goku's not the main character? The fuck?
yeah, and that's when and when we see Videl, dude. I'm not gonna put it on audio recording or video recording. The amount of times as a child I saw things I should not have seen that people drew online about Videl or Android 18. But there are so many things that shaped my life about those characters.
Yeah.
So important to me was Dragon Ball Z. So that's my first square.
Okay, I dig it. I dig it. I dig it. So my second square is a show that is not as well known. In fact, I feel like I'm like the only person who's ever known it because I'm the only person who I've ever heard mention it.
Okay.
Um, and I think it's one of the when I first like started my dive into anime, it was one of those shows. I don't even remember how I saw it or like how I was introduced to it, but I know as soon as I saw like character and like the concept, I was like, it's fucking done. Like, I'm in love with this show. I watched it as soon as I found it. I watched all 26 episodes of it. It's called Busho Renkin.
Oh yeah.
The
Yeah.
the English name is Arms Alchemy. And when I think back on the show is not good, but I still love it 100%. Because it's got some dumbass shit in it, and I love it. The main character is like, I mean, thinking about it, the main character is like the typical like shonen character. He like, um, honestly, I don't know. It's been so long since I've like rewatched this. I don't even remember what the initial. I know it all takes place in a world where uh, people can like they have like hexagons that are like in their chest, and they turn into like weapons, and like the main chick has like leg spider blades that like look sick as fucks, and the main guy had some lame ass shit where his thing was like a giant spear that just became like a bigger spear. And when I was a kid, I was like, damn, that's a cool ass spear. And I saw it, I like looked it up as I was like making this, and I was like, damn, that's a dumbass looking spear. But and
See,
then
hold on real quick though. So, just to clarify,
yeah,
this is this representing the viewer you are now, or just things that were important to you as a child,
I think this is one of the ones that
or
it was
both?
important to me when I was like growing up, and it's also like kind of like shaped who I am as an anime watcher. Because I mean, especially when I was like first getting into it, it was a lot of shows like this where it was like,
Okay.
it's a Coors Light shit. I mean, this show is definitely like action action heavy. A lot of it is like, I remember being like pretty mature too. Like a lot of characters end up not a lot, I guess. I mean, it's not like Attack on Titan levels or anything like that. But characters die in the show. And I remember the main like I don't know if he was like the main antagonist, but he's definitely like one of the antagonists. He was such a ridiculous character, and I loved him so much. Which was his name was Papillon, and he had like the whole butterfly shit. He had like a skin tight suit, and he wore like a butterfly mask. I loved it. Loved it 100%. It was all that kind of like weird ass shit that I like fell in love with. I was like,
Right.
oh, you can do like weird ass, like crazy ass shit like this in anime.
Yeah.
So it was definitely like one of those shows that like opened my eyes up to like the broader expanse of like what anime can be.
Okay.
But I like it a lot. It still like holds a special place in my heart. I always think of it, every now and again, even though I know it's like, it's not like one of the greatest shows ever made, but I still enjoy it quite a bit.
Hey, I get that, man.
Yeah.
Cool, man. The next on my grid would have to be, and the way I did mine, which is things that meant a lot to me as a kid, but also still represent how I view shit now. They're
Hmm.
twofold. Um,
Okay.
Again, it would be a lot easier if it was manga, but it's not. So I was very
Yeah.
particular. I didn't want to just like there's certain manga that um, if I put on my list, I can't say the anime is good because I haven't seen the anime. So I didn't want to do that. So I just particularly
Okay.
picked anime. GTO is on my list,
Ooh.
which is Great Teacher Onizuka. It was the first series I watched that was like I never watched a comedy before. I
Mm-hmm.
never watched a slice of life before, and so it was the first on those fronts. But also it had the thing that I cared about, which was the gangster stuff, which I loved
Yeah.
that stuff. So it was adult, and I not only did I watch the anime, but I watched the live action show back
Mm-hmm.
when it was such a pain in the ass to find subs of Japanese TV dramas like
Yeah.
08, 07. I watched that, and that sends me down the line of all my favorite, fucking bully fighting manga that I love so much, like Crows and shit like
Yeah.
that. But GTO was the first one that was really like, okay, it's about there's no plot. There's like no like plot lines. There's
Mm-hmm.
no progression. There's no power ups. There's no fucking tournament. It's just a fucking guy. It's the persona shit. Like we're just talking to people and learning about their lives. And we're gonna fix them.
Yeah.
And that's the first time that's ever really hooked me. And it's probably the last time, honestly.
Hmm.
So I would say GTO is my number two next next important anime. Not that I watch shit like that now, but
Yeah.
I would definitely read more GTO if it came out. So
Yeah. I get that. 100%. So the next one on my list is Angel Beats, which is
God, this fucking show,
um,
man.
I liked it a lot. I think it's one of those shows that it first of all, it's one of those shows that holds a special place in my heart because it's one of the first shows where it was like when I was started like watching shit with Keelan, it was like one of the first shows that like we watched together and like we
Yeah.
talked about and like experienced it together as like friends. And so it holds a special place in my heart for that. And it's also one of those shows that it hit me out of like left field a little bit because I mean you originally get into it because it's the concept is so nutty and strange of like okay we're in the afterlife and we're like fighting against like God and like an angel and whatnot and we're like fighting against like the fighting against death and all that kind of stuff and so it's like that's kind of ridiculous and they kind of like always go like slapstick with it especially like the first I think like the first like half of the series is like basically like slapstick comedy.
Mm-hmm.
Um, all of those kind of like weird, crazy situations. And I really like and it sets up the characters a lot. And I really like the characters a lot. And then you get into the situation where you enjoy all these characters so much and like their interactions with each other in this group. And then you get the second half of the series, which is basically like the guy sending all of these people to like fulfill like any like leftover wants or desires that they have so they like can move on to the afterlife and like be at peace and whatnot and so like it hit like a much more emotional core than I was expecting. I mean it got to the point where it's like especially with this show the music in it is like so good too. I remember like as a kid I would fucking LimeWire the because specifically in this show it takes place in like an afterworld high school and so one of the core group of characters is these girls who have a band
Mm-hmm.
and so they actually have like their own music that you can listen to and I remember as a kid or not as a kid as like a teenager
Right.
like listen to this like on the bus and be like still in the goddamn feels when I hear the one girl's song where she says she basically like is at peace with like who she is as a musician, like being able to like change people's lives and like bring smiles to their faces like through music, and then you just see her disappear and like her guitar drops to the ground and like just even thinking about it now like gets me like more emotional than like I feel like any property has a right to. So,
Right.
but yeah, I really enjoy those characters a lot.
That's
So yeah,
exactly how I feel when at the end of T2 when you see the
mm,
thumbs up.
thumbs up, man.
No, I know a lot of our friends really like the anime. I've never seen it.
Yeah. No, it's I don't know if I don't think I could recommend it to you. I don't think it's
No,
something that you necessarily
no, yeah,
enjoy.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But I really enjoy it a lot.
I
Um,
only love, and this is a insecurity on my part. I only let emotions show when it's in the heat of battle,
mm,
like like
okay,
in anime,
I got you.
like if like in Naruto, I mean,
Yeah,
like that shit. That's exactly a perfect example.
yeah.
Well, okay, I'm glad you have that on your list. I figured you're going to.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna run through my next one real fast so you can get to your next one.
Okay. All right.
Is City Hunter, and
Okay.
this is a manga that I can't finish it because it's fucking not all fucking. There's nowhere to read
Mm-hmm.
it. But the anime is done, and it was one of those
Okay.
anime that the first ones where I'm like, oh, there's anime before Beyblade. Like there's like there's anime that existed before I was born, and it was one of
Right.
those shows. It's like this Fist of North Star, were like the big ones. I'm like, okay, so this is old school shit. And I remember when I was young, I think I started watching this when I was like 13,
Mm-hmm.
14, and being like, okay, Fist of the North Star, okay, this is great. This is really really rad, but also like, okay, I don't want to watch so much death right
Yeah.
now. Like maybe in chunks, but City Hunter it was so goofy, and it hit all my things that I liked about regular shows, like TV shows. Like it's comedic, it's crime, it's action, it's
Mm-hmm.
killer music, and then also just the fucking vibes, dude. Like the fuck.
Yeah.
That's why you see City Hunter and all these fucking retro wave shit,
Mm-hmm.
because it's like immaculate.
Yeah.
And so City Hunter was a big deal for me, and it makes me really sad that they haven't done an official release of the manga, because that would be on my fucking automatic pre-order list of like, what's up? You're pre-ordering all volumes of City Hunter? All got it, done. Give
Done.
it to me.
Yeah.
And
I feel
there's
it.
also the sequel series, which is about a different universe where the main character is a female character, which I have seen zero of.
Huh.
He finished City Hunter. He's like, you know what? I'm gonna do another take on this where it's a whole different universe, but the
Okay.
same characters are in it.
But they're just gender swapped?
They're just not. There's the same people, just not the same person. Like
Huh.
Rio's in it, but he's not the same kind of Rio.
Okay.
And it's called like Angel something, I think. I haven't read it. I have no context for it, but I know that like it's popular and it came out, and I don't know if there's an anime for it, but just another part of the City Hunter universe that I would like to finish if they ever decided to fucking publish it.
Okay.
So that's my next anime with City Hunter.
Okay. My next one is it's probably one of the few um, sports anime that I've like,
Okay, sports.
and I guess this one like kind of loosely fits sports anime.
Hikari no Go.
No, not Hikaru no Go.
Okay,
I've actually never watched Hikaru no Go.
I've only read it.
I've only seen the commercials that showed up on Toonami, and they were like Hikaru no Go, and I was like, that looks like a boring.
Yeah.
What was it? Backgammon, but it's not backgammon, but it looks like backgammon because it's the same tiles. But no, it's Air Gear,
Air Gear. Yeah.
and Air Gear is like kind of comes with the caveat because it's like I haven't finished the manga, but I've gotten further in the manga than the show did.
Mm-hmm.
But I watched the show first, and I really like the show a lot. I mean, it's great characters, great concept. I like the fact of like dueling, rollerblading with like mechanized rollerblade. That all sort of like crazy concept that like makes no sense, but I'm still like there for it 100%. And then you've got like, other than the fact that like mechanized rollerblades exist that have like motors, you also have like weird superpower shit with like road masters that like take on like flames, or you've got the what was he Sky Road, and then you've got like the Thorn Road. You've got all these different like themes and concepts for like different powers and like power ups and that kind of thing, and like those kind of supernatural, superpowered battles that go on in like this sports show. I love it. There's not too much more to say other than that. I really liked it a lot. I was disappointed with the anime though, which would maybe have to buy because I think they have like, I don't know if they finished the omnibuses for it, but I bought like the first 3 that came out, and I was like, first of all, this is way different than the anime, and also, why couldn't they just animate this?
I never, I've heard about Air Gear forever. I just never had a desire to read it because the art style.
Well, definitely don't watch it because it ends on a cliffhanger, and they never gave us a season 2, which made me upset.
Well, it's the art style to me doesn't really. It's not my style of art that I like in anime.
Okay.
And I have no concept of the quality. I can't say that, but that was always the stopping point for me. It was like, okay, it's people like this a lot, and I Google it or I look at it, I go, not for me. That's just art wise alone. So I can't comment on the quality, like I said. But I'll piggyback off of your sports anime and raise you a sports anime.
Oh, double down.
Rolling. Hajime no Ippo, baby.
Hey,
It's
there you
my
go.
next favorite. It's essentially everything I love about anime.
It's finally coming to Crunchyroll.
Yeah, I remember you sent me that.
Yeah.
I'm happy to rewatch it because I have reread it 1,000 times.
I'm happy to actually watch it. So.
Yeah, I've reread the first. I'm not up to date by any means, but I've reread the first wherever the animes I've gone through. I've reread that enough times. Yeah, it's exactly what I wanted in an anime as a kid. Before I even cared about sports or cared about combat sports or cared about boxing or cared about fighting or anything.
Mm-hmm.
Love it, love it, love it, love it. The art's fantastic, and the anime does a really good job of translating that 1-to-1. It looks fucking
Yeah.
amazing, and it again, it's there's no thinking. It's fight, next fight, train,
Yeah.
next fight, problems with the bad guy, next fight, how to work that out,
All solved in the fight.
next fight. So to me, that's like again, that's like it's what we call in the death metal community caveman riffs, which is like the bum 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 bum. That's all Ippo is. Like, what's up?
All right.
Fight, 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 train. That's what it is. So Ippo for sure. Have not up to date on the manga. I can't say that I am because I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
But I've read the first bit quite a few times, and I've really enjoyed it. So that's my next one.
All right. My next one is gotta get a little bit emotional again. I apologize. This is the last like super emotional one for me.
Okay.
But I had to put it on the list because I feel like it also like doesn't get talked about enough, which makes me sad. It's a movie actually.
We could do movies. I didn't know we could do movies.
Yeah, we could do movies.
I thought it was just anime series.
Well, I mean, I would consider like anime movies as part of like anime as a whole.
Okay. All right. Okay.
I would have considered like anime as a whole.
Okay.
But,
I got hot changes then.
Okay, yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
But it's the movie A Silent Voice, which I'm pretty sure I've talked about on this program before. But I don't know. There's something like, and I've also rewatched it multiple times, even though it only came out like a couple years ago, just because I love the story and the message behind it so much. But it's all just like about like the real effects of like bullying and like especially like with the setup to the whole story and like how that can affect like not just the person who is bullied but the person who does the bullying and how that can like trigger back on them and like them dealing with the consequences of their actions and like trying to like be forgiven and forgive other people for like what they've done to you.
Mm-hmm.
It's something like that is just very emotionally resonant to me, and I enjoy that character a lot. And it's just also like, as far as like anime movies go, I feel like it's like one of the best looking ones I've ever seen. I love it so much, and it's just so good.
Sure.
If people haven't watched it, even if you don't think it's your cup of tea, I feel like you owe the movie the chance to like give it a shot, because I feel like it's one of those stories that I feel like it's hard to watch it and say that like, at least for me, I don't know, maybe other people won't be affected, but I mean for me it'd be hard to have anybody watch it and say that they weren't affected by it in some way.
Right. I get that. Yeah, I'd never heard of it. I remember you mentioning it, but I'd never never heard of it.
I know I mentioned it before, but yeah.
Well, I'll piggyback off your movie then with my hot change movie to mine.
Okay.
Motherfucking Ghost in the Shell.
All right, well, we mark off another one of mine because Ghost in the Shell was also on
Ghost
my
in the
list.
Shell, dude. So important to me.
I mean, it's Ghost in the Shell, man. How can it not be important to us?
It was my introduction to cyberpunk.
Mm-hmm.
My introduction to that kind of now this is not necessarily the movie, but more so the anime.
Mm-hmm.
My introduction to like that kind of female character.
Definitely more so with the anime.
More
sure.
with the anime than the movie. But that was my
introduction. Hey, but as far as that's concerned, I mean, you're hitting both at the same time because I mean that's all.
Yeah. But the movie more so than the anime I've only seen a couple times, but the movie I've seen 1,000 times.
Yeah.
So the movie for sure is my introduction to cyberpunk, the genre. More before Akira, before fucking Neuromancer, before Snow Crash, before Blade Runner. I've seen Blade Runner before I saw this, but like while Blade Runner is very cyberpunk, this is infinitely, I think, I can do an hour.
Blade Runner's kind of boring.
I can do an hour-long video about why Blade Runner is not really cyberpunk. I can do an hour-long video on that motherfucking shit. That movie is aesthetically cyberpunk. The concepts, surface level cyberpunk. Ghost in the Shell, the entire thing.
Oh, that's cyberpunk all the way through. Yeah.
So that was my first. And people would argue the fuck with me on that. I understand that, but you're wrong.
Yeah. No, I agree with you on that. I definitely would agree with that.
Now,
for sure.
now, 2049.
2049.
That's cyberpunk. That's cyberpunk.
That's cyberpunk all the way through.
But again, it's debatable. I understand that, but Ghost in the Shell was like my first real introduction to especially Japanese versions of cyberpunk.
Yeah.
And that is the first movie that was like super deep and not clearly a seinen, super not for
Yeah.
children, make you think, make you all that
Hmm.
kind of stuff. A lot of boobies, a lot
Yeah, a
of
lot of boobies.
blood, action, really well animated stuff.
Hmm.
Because people, a lot of people I knew at the time were like, "Oh, Ninja Scroll,"
Yeah.
and I still have never seen a single frame of Ninja Scroll.
I don't know if I've seen Ninja. I think the other one that I think was introduced to me was not Ninja Scroll, but it's like is that similar type of thing to Ninja Scroll? I think it was called Basilisk.
But see, Ninja Scroll's old.
Yeah.
Ninja Scroll's like
I think
'90s.
Basilisk is like the newer version of Ninja
Basilisk was
Scroll.
like
It's like the same thing where
2007.
it's like super bloody, mature,
Yeah.
like ninja battle shit. But it's also like, I think I watched like 3 or 4 episodes of Basilisk, and I was like, this is not hitting me.
Yeah, and Ninja Scroll. Maybe I've never commented on it because I've never seen it. But maybe if I watch it now, I'll be like fucking all day, because I'm currently in this point in my life where you watch anime that's up to date. I'm constantly going backwards.
Right.
Like I started reading
Rama
Rama.
one half. Yeah.
I would never read that shit 10 years ago. Because I wanted to watch a movie. I saw a list anime video. It was like best anime movies you should watch,
Mm.
and they're all like classics, like
Right.
80s, 90s, 70s, whatever. And one of
Hmm.
them was the Alien Girl series by the lady who did Ranma.
Right. That's the. It's the alien girl. She's got like
The
the
leopard print,
cheetah, the
whatever.
leopard print.
Yeah,
Yeah. Shit. Yeah. Yeah.
and
With like the blue hair. Yeah. Yeah.
the
Yeah.
list was like Yumeshi or whatever. I don't know what it's called, but
Something
the
like
list
that. I
was
can't
the
remember what.
the video was like you should watch the second movie because it's directed by this guy who's made a lot of good movies before. And I was like,
Hmm.
that guy has made a lot of good movies before. Okay, but I
Okay.
haven't watched the movie yet. But I'm off topic. But my point is like Ghost in the Shell was the first anime movie that got me into anime movies. Because
Okay.
after that came Akira, and then after that became just more anime movies. But Ghost in the Shell was the first one, and it really influences my taste in cyberpunk to this day. Like even when I think about playing the game Cyberpunk, I'm like,
Yeah.
I want to make it
I
mandatory
want to be Ghost in the Shell. Yeah.
mandatory characteristics for me Cyberpunk now because of the movie Cyberpunk and the manga Cyberpunk or the
Hmm.
Ghost in the Shell. Sorry, the fucking fact that people will go towards the Deckard style of fashion. They want the
Hmm.
coat. No, 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 no,
Yeah.
no. It's the fucking jacket. It's the fucking
Yeah. It's
major.
always the
It's that
jacket.
jacket that Major has. That to me is cyberpunk. Like, make that shit fucking neon or bright or even the tactical color that she has in all the fucking series.
Yeah.
Sneakers. That to me is cyberpunk, right? So
Bato's look too
Bato,
with the.
yes, absolutely,
Yeah.
100%. So that to me was very important to me.
Okay. Yeah, I agree with you 100%. That was on my list too. So I'll go to my next one then, which was Yu Yu Hakusho.
Oh yeah.
Holy fuck, dude! What a fucking anime. Love Yu Yu Hakusho. I think we talked about it recently, but I mean, it's just such a solid series to me. It's got such a solid premise. The action in it is great. It's got great villains. It's got one of the best tournament arcs that I've ever seen in anime. Um, it's just such a fun series. And like
I'm
rewatching
so
it, even
sad
though it's
that
long, I always have fun rewatching Yu Yu Hakusho.
I'm so sad now that I haven't put the time in because I think that I would enjoy it now, versus
I think you
when I
would
was a
too.
kid. I just definitely did not give it the time of day.
Yeah. No, yeah.
Um,
I think if you definitely went back and like watch it or even read it, I mean, I don't know. I don't know how good like the manga is for Yu Yu Hakusho, but I mean, I feel like if you went back and like took the time to watch it now, I think you would enjoy it a lot.
I say that's the thing. I think so too, man. I think so too.
Yeah.
Um,
Especially with like all our shit, urban fantasy is like right up our alley. I
oh
mean, it
yeah,
gets a little bit away from urban fantasy later on, but it definitely starts off urban fantasy
yeah,
for sure. So
absolutely. I've seen one movie because of Anime Club, but I
I don't think I've ever watched a Yu Yu Hakusho
I
movie
saw a
actually.
movie and it looked amazing, but I had no
Yeah.
context for anything. I
Right.
knew two things. I knew Spirit Gun and
Spirit Gun
guy with the
and Spirit Blade, right?
shotgun or something or Buster
Oh,
or
yes, power up. Yeah.
that's all I knew.
Spirit Shotgun. Not
Um,
even Spirit Sword with Kuwabara and his sick ass
I
hair.
mean, I knew that too. Yeah.
Yeah.
My next on my list, we're going back to. I'm gonna knock out. I'm just gonna knock one out real fast and then get to the next one
Okay.
because I already mentioned Slam Dunk, but Slam Dunk,
Okay.
um, it got me into basketball. It got me into sports manga. It's amazing storytelling, amazing storytelling about how to see a character go from zero to not zero, but
Yeah.
still not be the best. It's about hard work
Okay.
and dedication. So that's that. Initial D is what I want to jump to next. Initial D.
Okay.
Um, it 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 got me into cars
Mhm.
in the sense that like I don't know shit about cars,
Yeah.
but I know what cars look like,
Mhm.
right? And it got me into that. So like what got me into cars, which then got me into Fast and the Furious, which then changed my life
Yeah.
because I love Fast and Furious.
So Initial D changed your life.
This really changed my life. But it's just
Yeah.
it's a fun show that I watched a ton and read a ton of it, and they never finished. Tokyo Pop never finished publishing the manga, but I remember
Wow.
buying it from fucking Sam Goody at the fucking mall, which Sam Goody is long gone.
Yeah.
But I remember buying the shitty volumes of that shit as a kid and loving it, and then finally being able to finish
Damn,
it.
dude, what even happened to Tokyo Pop? That shit's like gone.
Shit's
They used to put
fucking
out mangas
gone
all the time. They're fucking gone.
because they fucking sucked.
Yeah. Now it's Viz. Viz is the new
They
one.
put out
So
fucking. They would put out shit. Well, Viz was there too. They just didn't have the licenses. You know,
that's
they
true. Tokyo Pop basically
Tokyo
took it.
Pop put out like Beck, which I loved.
Yeah.
Fucking Dot Hack.
Tokyo Pop put out like everything.
Yeah. But I feel like Tokyo Pop put out shit they never finished
No, I definitely feel like yeah. I definitely don't feel like they
because they
finished.
had the Samurai Champloo manga that I bought and they only did 2 volumes. And I was like, dude, come on,
Yeah.
get some more.
Can't do that to me.
So Initial D was big for me. It got me into cars. It got me into racing, which got me into watching Formula One, which got me into
Yeah.
watching even like NASCAR stuff every now and then. So it got me into it's these sports mangas get me into the sports that's depicted in it.
Mhm.
Even if I don't like, I don't have a race car. I don't
Yeah.
have a tuner car up front. I can't drift the car. I've done it before at the academy. Like I've never
Uh,
like done it. I don't do it. I don't have a work car that I work on, but it
mhm.
got me into watching racing. So to me, it's fundamental in that progression of enjoying sport. So
Yeah. Definitely. I get you. Okay. My next one, uh, two left. So second to last one in my grid is Gundam.
oh,
Mobile Suit
knock it off
Gundam?
for me too.
Yeah. It's goddamn dude, what can I say? I love giant robots. I mean, it's hard to nail down a Gundam series particular that like really got me. I think if I had to say one, it would probably be the Gundam Wing because I feel like that's the one that I like watched earliest when I was a kid. And those are, especially for me, it's like those are the robot design wise that always like stick out in my mind.
Hmm.
Not Wing in particular because that design's kind of bland, but you've got like Sandrock and you've got Death Scythe and you've
Hmm.
got I can't remember what the Chinese dragon one was called, but but they've got some great designs in there. And then you've got the characters in Wing are great too. But I mean, God, I just love giant robots so fucking much.
Yeah, see, for me, it's the first one for me was always Gundam Seed,
Hmm.
Gundam Seed Destiny. I watched Double O when it came out, if that's how it's pronounced. I never found out.
I think it's Double O, yeah.
I watched that as it came out, and then I watched the sequel series as they overpowered it. Um,
Hmm.
and then I watched Gundam Age as all through those 3 seasons. And then
Hmm.
at some point in there, I went back and watched the original series. Went to watch Zeta. It helps because I have a friend of mine who is a humongous Gundam fan
Hmm.
as well. So he's really into Gunpla, and we would build models together, and he took it to a whole nother level compared to what I do. I just
Hmm.
base paint and snap. He like
Yeah.
does everything, masking, all kind of shit. So it helped
Right.
that when I was watching the original series, he was also watching the original series. So I was talking to him as a kid in like
Hmm.
8th grade about the original show. So when he was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna watch Zeta," I was like, "Okay, well, what the fuck is Zeta?" So he was
Yeah.
able to help propel me into watching the original Amuro story, the Universal storyline. So
Hmm.
that was a big deal for me because I never cared about. I mean, this is my first mech show.
Yeah.
I never really cared for a mech show after that. To me, like, Gundam's just the quintessential. Gundam to me is
Yeah,
the
none of them have really like hit the same for me. I mean, there have been a couple that I've watched, but they've never really like
yeah.
I don't know. They've never gotten to like the highs that like Gundam
Well, to
has.
me, especially the original series of Gundam, it's the quintessential, it's the epitome and the at the top of the tier of mecha and of space opera in Japan.
Yeah.
It's the top of the pack.
Hmm.
Um, Cause just Amuro and Char's story between the first series all the way through Zeta and Double Zeta, all the way
Yeah.
up through Char's counterattack. It is insane space opera that I don't know why it's not more publicly, like, I mean, maybe people older than us that gave a shit, but like
Yeah.
it's just because Gundam now is not Gundam then. They're so different.
No, and I also feel like Gundam's kind of like fallen off. I mean, I have my anime group, and there are definitely people who like are big Gundam fans, and we talk about Gundam sometimes in there. But like, as far as like the mainstream, like
Yeah.
current anime watchers, like, I mean, Gundam really hasn't put out anything in like a really long time either. So
Well,
that's like part
the
of it
problem
too.
is that they put out stuff every couple seasons. They're
Yeah.
active as shit. But the problem is that it's not Gundam. It's fucking Beyblade.
Well, yeah. Well, that was. Well, that's yeah. They have the Gun Plus show, which I've never
The
watched,
Gundam
but
build and all that
uh,
kind of stuff. And
Gundam Build. But I even that hasn't been around for like I feel like a year or two. Like I can't remember the last time I heard anything about like a Gundam Build.
but for a year for Gundam, that's fine because
Yeah.
Gundam was it's so sporadic. But like even with the origin, I feel like it wasn't that much talk about it.
No, not really. I mean, I remember seeing it when it popped up because I think we like the last convention that I went to with you. I think was when they were like uh, saying that like Origin was going to be released. I remember they had like a big, um, not a tent, what the fuck, booth for it at the convention we were at. They had like the big monitor that they were showing like the trailer.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, damn, that looks really good. I want to watch that.
Yeah.
When's it coming out? There was no release date anywhere, and I was like, what the fuck? I want to watch it right now.
And even now with the anime, the new one coming out, the new OVA or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
I had to see it. It came out a month ago. I didn't see shit about it until now. It's been a
I
month.
saw some trailer about it on my anime group that there was some. I didn't even know that came out. I saw that there was some OVA for some Gundam series. I think it was. I can't remember exactly what part of like the Universal timeline it was in, but like I watched the trailer, and I was like, "Damn, that looks good."
Yeah.
And then I never heard like anything else about it. I feel like Gundam's one of the things like they drop a trailer and everybody's like, "Damn," and then it comes out and like nobody knows
Yeah.
about it.
I have to like subscribe to the fucking channel to like get
Yeah.
anything. Go ahead. What's your last one?
On my last
Because
one,
I had
dude.
technically I think I have two left technically, or I have
Uh,
one left. I can't remember.
I think you might have one left because I think we kind of. I can't remember.
Yeah, I have
My
one. I
last
have
one
one
though.
left. Yeah, I have one left.
Uh, I mean, how can we make a list and not mention it? Because it's. I mean, it's the ultimate Chad anime.
Okay.
It's fucking JoJo.
Oh, it's not on my list, bro.
JoJo, man. I love it. I love all the parts of it. I love the parts that people don't like. Especially, I like part one and well, not part one as much, but I love part two so much. Part three is good for what it is, and then part four is just a masterpiece. Um, I don't think he can ever top part four. I mean, apparently he does, but I haven't seen it animated yet, so part four is a masterpiece to me. It's like the highs of like JoJo as
Yeah.
being like, weird as fuck and like being like a compelling story with compelling characters. I want to binge and get through because I want to know what the hell's happening with them. And then part five is part five. It's fine.
I can't say that I love JoJo that much because I didn't get into JoJo till later in high school.
Mm.
Um, and again, that was
JoJo
manga.
was kind of late for me too, but I feel like JoJo for me quintessizes encapsulates like me as an anime viewer like now.
Yeah, I get that. I would see for me as JoJo progresses, it becomes more and more not what I like in anime.
Mm.
In a shonen style. I mean, like
Yeah,
the
I
dudes are
get you.
not as big anymore. right?
No, there's definitely like a lot more of like toning stuff
Thinking, and
down.
there's like all like by part 4, it's kind of like
Josuke's not a big guy, yeah.
yeah, and then by part 5, I'm like, okay, we're doing like fucking math. We're doing algebra and geometry on this shit, right? Whereas like in part 1 and 2, it's like, what's up, big guys, punch. Right?
Punch.
Part 3 is like the
What's that?
punch,
I can
punch,
harness the
punch.
power of the sun and I
Yeah.
punch you? Hell yeah.
I'm gonna throw you a curveball for my last
All
one.
right.
My last
Throw me-
one, I couldn't think of a last one.
All right.
So here's my curveball. It's blank, right? Now, some would say I couldn't think of one, but I'm gonna say because that's the space for the future. For
Okay.
the
Okay.
anime viewer that I want to be.
Okay.
Okay, so my goal is
You know what? I approve of this curveball.
my goal is that I want to expand my anime horizons, right?
Okay.
I want to watch stuff that I would not watch before.
Okay.
I want to consume anime media that I would not have liked before, but now as a 28-year-old man, maybe I would care, right?
Okay.
So like I mentioned Ranma. I would never give a shit about that show as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
Now I feel like I am mature enough in my own maturity to give it a shot and read it, right?
Okay.
Now, will I ever watch Angel Beats? Fuck no. Probably not. Not
Probably
not in
not.
it for me. Clanad, probably not. Not in it for me. But something going towards that. Like in that like not there, but in like inching in that direction maybe. You know? Um what that is, I
Fruits
don't know.
basket.
Huh?
Fruits basket.
Maybe. I don't know. Nisekoi.
Honestly, I feel like
Maybe
I
I
don't know.
don't
I mean,
know.
if you're trying to like inch in that direction, especially they're doing the remake of it right now, and the season 3 is about to come out in next season. Uh, I can't wait, dude.
Yeah.
I can't wait. I mean, for me, it's like I never had any connection to the original series, but like watching this remake of Fruit Baskets, it's like it's one of those shows that's like in like the first 5 episodes, I was like crying. I was like, how the fuck am I crying? It's
Right.
5 episodes in. I have no connection to these characters.
Right.
How am I feeling these emotions? But I
Because
was, and
because
I was like, damn,
for,
this is powerful shit.
in reality, that last space or one of the other spaces would be Shaman King. It would
Mm.
be Metabots. It
Be
would be
Beyblade,
Digimon. It would be Beyblade. Because I knew those were anime.
Yu-Gi-Oh.
Because I watched those shows in Japan as a kid. So it wasn't like I
Yeah.
didn't know they were Japanese. I knew they were Japanese. Cause I was watching them in Japan. Now I was watching them in English, but I was like, I knew that this was like, I would go off base to Japanese stores and buy Digimon cards and buy
Yeah.
Beyblade toys in Japan. So I knew that was anime, but like you know, Shaman King's massive, and once that comes out next month, and once the new manga volume comes out later this month, and I get that, that is going to be all the fuck I'm talking about.
Well, I think that's going to be the problem with Shaman King because it's got Netflix, so it's going to be like I don't know. It's got the Netflix problem.
I'll just fucking download the episode because it's airing on TV too.
It's true. I mean, it is airing on TV, and yeah, I mean, even you could probably just like get a VPN or whatever and do the Japanese Netflix shit.
Bro,
But
fuck that. I am just gonna fucking torrent that shit. I will find someone that fucking has it on their shit. I don't give a fuck, dude. That's just too important to me.
that's true.
It's not on my grid because I don't think it needed to be, but like
Mm.
it is. I found a community of people on YouTube
Okay.
who like Shaman King as much as I do, and I
Okay.
never knew they existed. Now I should have known because the fucking manga ran for like 10 years. So why the fuck
Yeah.
wouldn't they exist? But I found people talking about the anime, and I saw people talking about the manga coming out, the new release, who are like super into it. And I'm like, dude, are y'all really into it? You're trying to bite my steez, right? And I'm in the comments, I'm like, no, these people fucking like Shaman King. These people fucking are talking about it, like
Mm.
knowing shit, right? And I'm like, man, I've been holding this secret for fucking
I've been holding this inside me for too
fucking
long.
20 years. I've been fucking holding this anime in because no one fucking knows about it. Now I'm talking to our friends in high school, and no one fucking knows.
Yeah.
People have a vague memory of it. No one fucking knows. But here I am, like, y'all don't even fucking know the fucking epicness, to use a fucking word from 2009. How badass this anime is going to be. If they do it correctly, why wouldn't
Mm.
they?
Yeah. I mean, from the trailers and stuff that
Zach,
I've
you're
seen,
going to
it's
see
like,
a fucking guy, a shaman, king, contestant who uses a snowboard as his weapon.
Fuck yeah.
And he fucking
Down for that.
snowboards on ice that he makes with shaman energy, and then puts it on his arm and punches people.
That sounds like My Hero Academia shit.
You're gonna who the fuck ripped off his steez, babe? You're gonna fucking see. I told you before about Faust, the fucking necromancer.
Yeah.
You're gonna see him. You're gonna fucking see that it's a whole tournament. The whole series is a tournament.
Oh, it's a giant tournament.
Giant tournament arc. Okay, starts out individual. You gotta get past the first round. Second round, Zach. They put you into groups of 3. Huh? What's up?
Wait a second. I feel like that's a similar tournament arc to something that I know about. I can't think of it off the top of my head.
I guarantee they stole that from Shaman King.
Oh wait, that's got a high school. That's the same shit.
Groups of 3.
Yeah.
Right? And sometimes the person's in your group, guess what? You had to fight them.
Is Battle Royale, and then groups of 3, and then the one-on-one.
Well, here's the thing about Shaman King, dude. It's not a Battle Royale, right? It's this.
Okay.
We're going to send you, you have a notification device. We're sending you a time and a place. Meet there.
Okay.
And they just fucking meet there. And that's your person you're going to fight. Fucking, you're a 12-year-old kid fighting a fucking 4-year-old man. Good luck.
Wait, what? All right.
You know, it's awesome. It is awesome. I'm so excited for it. And that would theoretically be my last square. But I'm leaving it blank because it's for the future of my particular viewing. So, Zach, anything else you want to say, bro, about anime in this scenario?
No, I mean I think we talked a lot. We talked a lot of good shit. Talked about classics, a lot of things that hit close to home. Now I want to try to actually get this square grid together now and actually like send something to you. I want this to be visualized.
Sure. Okay.
So,
well, guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. We'll see you guys back next week with I think
to barely talk about Godzilla and then talk about King Kong.
Yes, to talk about to say our review of King Kong or our review of Godzilla, which is it sucks.
It's boring. And then they talk about Godzilla or King Kong, which from what I remember was pretty fun.
I like how I messed up and then you messed up.
Yeah, we both messed up.
So thanks guys for watching. We'll get back to you next week with more License to View and next episode to step into the pathway of Godzilla, King Kong. There we go.
Was that a Shaman King? Okay.
That's a Shaman King.
That was a Shaman King reference?
Yeah. No, it's not. I just couldn't talk. But
oh. I thought it sounded like you were trying to sing the Shaman King theme song. But
hold on. Shaman King theme song. Okay. Here's the problem with Shaman King theme song, the U.S. version. And it's been so long in my mind since I've sat down and listened to it.
Is it a 4Kids version?
Yes. Here's the problem with that, right? In my mind, my memory bank, when I go back to file it and pull it up in my databases, I can't remember if I'm singing the right song. If I'm singing the Shaman King theme song, or if I'm singing the Digimon Frontiers theme song, because they both sound kind of similar.
Oh, they have that shit?
Yeah. Hold on, because they both sound kind of similar, and I can't remember what the correct
Look to the past as you head towards
that's
future
that's
reclaim
Digimon.
the
Yes,
digital world.
Can you even hear? Can you hear my phone? Does it sound terrible or no?
I can't bear. I can. Oh yeah, it definitely has a similar thing. I'm digging it. I think things go. It's pretty good.
Right here, Zach, right here.
I recognize it.
Come
as far as 4Kids openings go, I mean that's pretty good. It's better than One Piece's.
But look, we shit on the One Piece one for years, but legitimately, it's not that bad of a theme song.
I mean, legitimately, I can still sing it because it's kind of a banger like that, but it's also like, I don't know.
Yeah, I saw a comment before we end the podcast on a YouTube video where talking about the Shaman King, where someone's like, I fucking hope they put the fucking 4Kids opening. And people were like, it's not happening. And people were like,
definitely not happening.
And people were like, you don't understand. It has to happen. That's so fucking good.
You know, if it doesn't happen, somebody's going to be like, going on YouTube and be like Shaman King 2021
Correct.
with the correct opening.
Well, they did it fucking Mortal Kombat, you know?
Oh, that's true. They did. Yeah, they remixed it
Yeah.
with the shit. Yeah.
Okay, Zach, we're gonna end the podcast now, but I want you to listen to the theme song. It's only 40 seconds on your own
Okay.
to hear it, not through a microphone, because it's a banger. So,
Okay.
thanks guys for watching. Thanks for listening. See you back next week with more lessons of you.